Elazar,
Walter, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. Everything okay?
You saw the Rebbe tonight, huh?
I was there, yes. I came there afterwards. I got off the plane and then I went to the...
You drove him?
No, I didn't drive him. I was in New Vegas, so there was the show.
Oh, the fellow that was a photographer came in from Israel.
Yeah.
Shlomi Cohen, you saw the guy?
I mean, I saw there were photographers there. I spoke to them.
My nephew.
Really?
Yeah, my brother's daughter's son. Nice boy. He just got married, had a baby. I wanted to stay by me, but they're staying all together in a hotel. The guys, all the Hasidim. All right, okay, good.
Yeah.
I never heard of this man, but I guess he's supposed to be pretty.
Yeah. No, I was in Israel for a wedding about 3 months ago. By a friend of mine who's a Gera Chassid, and he's a good friend with this Rav.
In Israel, right?
Rav Shaul. Yeah, I went to Israel, and basically I went to Israel for 2 days for the wedding, and Rav Shaul Alter was the Masada Kiddushin. And I got a brocha under the chuppah also, so which is and I met him then, and then I spoke to him tonight again, and he remembered, and he's a very, 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 very special, important person. He's a big godel, probably at the moment the biggest godel ador that we know.
Really,
nobody knows that, but he's probably, as far as paskening halacha and learning, and he's shakua belimut, that's unbelievable.
Where's his background? Hasidic background, obviously, yeah.
He's a Gera Chassid. There's a big fight in Ger. Huge fight in Ger. He's Ger. Alta is Ger. Alta is the surname of the Gera Hasidic dynasty.
I see Chamenetsky is a driver. He must be a big follower, huh? Chamenetsky, remember? Yeah, it's good. Okay.
Are we on? I don't know what's going on here.
We're signing for.
Mario. I think I've learned Sarivav. So we'll see when he starts, but I've learned it already. The Daf Yomi in Vegas.
Walter, everybody's waiting for you here.
I've learned Sadik Vav anyway.
Okay.
I've learned Sadik Vav.
Are you back in LA?
I'm back in LA. It's a beautiful Daf.
Okay.
Okay, I got to catch up. Tonight I was trying to catch up with the other Daf that I Sadik Vav was on Shabbos.
Okay.
Okay.
We're doing Sadik Vav tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What about Kenny or Harold?
No news.
Huh?
They haven't showed up.
Okay. So we're on Sadik Vav. Now, Inami, Mimaidi Itzel Rav Huna. Who says they're learning like Rav Huna? Dilma lesser Rav Huna Klal. Rav Huna Kamifli. Perhaps Rav and Shmuel are arguing in a different machlokas. Dam Rav Huna. Shemeres Yavim Shezinsa Asur Liyavam. A lady in waiting who is mezaneh, or who sleeps with somebody else without klitz or yibum, cannot ever have yibum again from one of the brothers. The Rav Amar Harehi Keishasish Umifsla Business. It's like a regular Eishasish who's mezaneh that puzzles herself from going back to her husband by being mezaneh. Ushmul Amreina Keishasish was a low mifsla business, but it's not. Or some people holding Ami Bikidushin Toisim Bivama Kamiflugi. Whether there's chalois and kiddushin, the Rav Amar Harehi Keishasish for lo tafse b'kiddushin. Ushmul Amreina Keishasish for tafse b'kiddushin. So the Gemara says, "Vayiflagi b'chad zimna." Chad b'chlal techaver tidmer. We'll take what you want. So the Rambam says, "Shomeres yavim shezin muteres liyavim." The machlokes is paskin that the brother's allowed to do yibum. Armelo meisa ishtachad. Mishnah says he's told that his wife died. V'nasa choysa mavia. He marries a woman who is his wife's sister, but only from the same father, not from the same mother. And then she dies. And he marries that woman's sister, who's only a sister from the same mother. So really, that third woman has no relationship whatsoever to woman number one. And then if she dies, Mesa, and Vanasa Chosa Me'aviha, so wife number 4 is a sister, a half sister from the same father, and then she dies, and he marries number 5, Mesa Vanasa Chosa Me'ima. So he married 5 women. And in the end, they were all alive.
Oh my God.
So mutter b'rishoina shlishis of chamishis. Woman number 1, 3, and 5 are not related to each other. So he's allowed to marry 3 women. He can live with all of those people. Upoitrois soroseya. And they're regular wives that will pater the tzara if you give one of them yibum or klitza. V'asr b'shniya v'revius. He's not allowed to marry the second or fourth wife because they are the sisters. Because even if they're only half sisters, they're still sisters. And therefore, he was never married to them. Therefore, if he dies without children, they're not like real wives. So Bia will not pater the tzara. So the tzara will require ibum or chlitza. Now, if they find out in Baal Ashniya Lachar Misas Arishona, if he had relations with the second woman only after the first woman died, then we move everything down a notch. Mutter b'shniya revi. He would allowed to live with the second and the fourth women because they're not related. Upoitris sorosayan, they would be full wives. Also b'shlishis of chamishis. Ve'en b'yasachas ven poter sorasa. Now, ben teisha shana yom echad, a brother that is 9 years old, his bia is halachic bia. So therefore, who posal yidei achin? If he lives with the woman, he asers the other brothers from doing yibum, even though he's not a gadol, and he doesn't acquire the woman with his bia. The bia, at least the chachamim made a bia of a cotton like maimer derabbanan. That's what the Gemara is going to say. Ve'achan poisnal yodo. The achin cannot marry because of his act. Elahu poisal tchila. Now, brothers certainly can passel if they live with the yavama. The ben teshuv yamechad is only poisal tchila. If he doesn't act after that bia, it doesn't count for anything. Ha'achin passel tchila v'soy, but the brothers passel no matter when they do it. Maimer and then bia, chlitza and then get. Every act that they do passels. Ketzah. Ben teshuv yamechad shabal yavimto. So an act of bia will posla the achim. It'll prevent the other brothers from doing evil. Bo alea achim. If the brothers lived with the woman, or asuba maimer, or nosnu get, or chlotzu, poislan yada, which is not the case. A cotton can't do any of these things. So the whole case of the Mishnah is after the death of the first wife. Means we know for sure through testimony that the first wife had died, not after hearing about it, but we mamish have strong edus that it happened. If a person did maimer, and then one of his brothers had relations, even the guy who did maimer can't live with her anymore. Amri be apostle afila b'soif. Bia will always pass. Maimer tchila apostle b'soif loy apostle. For a cotton, tchila, which is his bia has the status of maimer, will apostle initially, but b'soif loy apostle. Afraid the Gemara bia afila b'soif apostle will be at the end apostle v'aktani elishu apostle tchila. Only a cotton can only apostle initially, not through a second act. The Gemara says, there's some words missing. Who poisot chila? He only apostles with his initial act. Ve'hein poison chila b'soif. That's only mimer. Aval bia poiselas afila b'soif. Ketza. When he lives with one of the Yevamos, he apostles. Would there be mimer? There is no mimer apostle by a teisha shanim. Who points by the achim would be only? The achim points by they would be a mimer begat b'chlitza. So be a the apostle ben b'tchila ben b'sof psikolei. There's no difference, so it mentions it. Mimer the b'chila b'sov l'pasul psiklei. The Tana didn't mention.
So the child, the ben teisha, does that make the woman an ashes ish or not? If he lives with her, let's say for the stranger, if she's mazana to stranger, is she an ashes ish?
The cotton can't coin her as a wife.
So she's a free. I mean,
to be apostles her to have yibum from one of the remaining brothers.
But let's say if there was no other brothers, could she go to the shuk? Could she marry a stranger?
No, they would have to wait until he becomes an adult and gives chlitza.
Oh yeah, okay. But okay, that she did go in.
Or he's coined her as an adult.
But from that first bia is nothing.
The first bia, all it does is apostle her to the other brothers, like mimer.
But it doesn't make her nations each for the day for the
strangers. No, because the cotton can't coin her.
Yeah. Okay.
Only the bia of a gadol is coin her. Chachabi made the bia of a cotton like a mimer, which is only rabbinic. Itmer nami amar Shmuel. Yesh lo get, that if a cotton gave her a get, it apostles on the brothers. V'chein amar av tachli baravim yesh lo maimer. So Tanya Mach yesh lo get v'yesh lo maimer di Rab Meir. Frank the Gemara v'savar Rab Meir yesh lo get. V'Tanya asu bias bentesha k'maimer begadol. And Rav Meir on also chlitzas bentesha could get begadol. The im isa, if it's like a get, let's look at gito. Let's say the chlitza made him like a get of the cotton. Yeah, he has it, but it's not the koyach of a gadol. Rabban Gamliel Domer ain't get achar get. Hanim il begadol achar gadol. The second get doesn't have an effect if a gadol gave the first get. v'kod nachar cotton. Aval god lachar cotton mani. A get given by a gadol after a get by a cotton, that will work. The Rabbanan damer yesh get achar get. Hanimil begadol achar gadol bekod nachar cotton. Aval kod nachar gadol lo mani at all. That doesn't work. Tzadik vav in base Mishnah. Ben teisha shav yomechot shaba yevimto. 9-year-old boy has relations with the Yavama. Another 9-year-old brother has relations with her as well. So poisel al yado. So it puzzles the guy who gave Mimer initially, or the guy who did the B initially. She needs a get from both of them, and he can't do yibum. Neither one can do yibum.
Right, they were twins, right?
Not twins.
Two. Well, they're both.
One boy is 9 and the other boy is 11.
Oh, okay.
As long as they're less, they're not gedolim, but they're above 9.
Oh, okay.
Reb Shimon Omer loy poisel. Reb Shimon says no. A BS ben tesha lo kanya umeshayra. It's nothing. Sofik kanya, sofik lo kanya, and e kanya kanya lagamri. V'lo kamanya, and therefore the second B doesn't do anything. V'lo kanya havale kamisha lo boal lo zev lo zu mutu lakama rishona. So he says mimon of shach. There's no problem. And tesha av yamechad shava yivimto. V'achar kach boal tzarasa. And then the tesha lives with the tzara. Poisel ayudei atzmo. Then he can't marry either one either. His beard of the second woman also puzzled. They're both usher. Reb Shimon Omer loy poisel for the same reason. Tanya Amalam Reb Shimon l'chachamim. Im bia rishona bia shnia in a bia. If the 9-year-old's bia koina her, then the second bia is like znus. Vim bia rishona in a bia shnia nami in a bia. And masnisin loy kebenazai. The Tanya benazai oimer. Yesh maimer achar maimer b'shnei yavam v'yom achas. They're two brothers, one woman. The second mimer has effect because there's zika. There's enough to go around. But ein maimer achar maimer b'shnei yavamis v'yavim echad. If there's only one brother and two yavamos, there's not enough zika for the second mimer to take effect. Mishnah. Ben teisha av yom echad shava yavim tov v'meis. 9-year-old boy does bia. Then he dies. So only chlitza can be done to this yavama now. No, none of the other brothers can marry her. Nasa isha vames. Let's say a 9-year-old boy marries a woman, and then he dies. Hare zeptura. There's no yibum chlitza because there's no nesuin for a cut. So there's no yibum if he dies without children. Ben teisha av yom echad sheba yivimto. 9-year-old boy does bia with the yivama, and then mishihigdil nosa isha cheres. He marries now a second wife. Vameis, and now he dies. Now technically, once he matures, that's what we were talking about before. It's like nesuin. Depends if he had bia yet. If he didn't have bia, once he became a mature person, lo yadas rishonik mashiach deal. Then harishona choletzes v'lo misyabemes. So then we give the woman that he had done bia with at 9 years old only chlitza because he had already had relations with her. It's like mimer. And then the shnia is a regular wife, oy choletzes o misyabemes. And Reb Shimon miyabim le'ish is a yirtza. Reb Shimon doesn't. He says the age itself makes her his wife. He doesn't have to do bia with her once he's higdil. Miyabim le'ish is a yirtza v'choletz l'shnia. Now, echad shu ben teisha av yom echad, v'echad shu ben esrim shlo hevi shtei saris. It's the same 9-year-old boy or a 20-year-old that never showed signs of puberty. Now, when there's a zika with two brothers, we don't allow yibum. We demand chlitza. Don't say that's only the case when there's a co-wife to ikla migzor mishum tzara, because it's exera. Because you might think you should be miyabim the tzara, and people would think you could be miyabim shtei yevamos from one bias. But the ha'achad lekat tzara, if there was no tzara, maybe mechlitz chaltza yevumi lo miyabmo. But when there's no tzara, you only do chlitza and there's no yibum. Nasi shavames, tanil ad tarabanan shoyte v'kodin shenosu v'mesu. If someone without das got married and died, there's no nesuin. Then ben tesha and then the mishihig deal. V'yasu bias ben tesha kamaymer b'gadol. V'tit chetzar miyibum. The tzor should also not have to require yibum, because she's a tzar eshes ish, where there's a zika from shtei yevamim. If you say that the biav of ben tesha is like maimer, Amar Rav lo asu bias ben tesha kamaimer b'gadol. They didn't make it like full maimer. Shmuel Amar asu v'asu. No, they made it like full maimer. V'chein Rav Yochanan asu v'asu. The yasu. So, will they make the biav of a 9-year-old like a full maimer? Tanoi. Hach tanadar ba'achin. The famous case of 4 brothers, and one of them died, and then the other brother made maimer, and then he died. So we there gazer mishum tzara, vashminim begadol v'hu adin bekatan, and it made no difference whether it was a gadol or a cotton. V'haidam a gadol mishum begadol koi. It was the mitzias was a gadol, but it would work with a cotton too. V'hai tana da'achal sphere le asu v'lo gazer mishum tzara, vashminim bekatan v'hu adin begadol. Same case over here. The case was a cotton, but not to exclude the case of a gadol. Rabbi Elazar came to yeshiva and didn't say the words in the name of Rav Yochanan. Sham Rav Yochanan ikbid. Rav Yochanan was upset. All gabi Rav Amir Vasi Amrilei Lokachaya Ma'asav Zaknesh Shal Tiveria Beneger Sheyesh Barosha Glusra. This was not the case in the shul in Tiveria. And they tore Sefer Torah. Karu salka daitach? No. It got torn. V'hayasham Rav Yossi ben Kisma. Omar. Tami aniyim lo yeh beis hakneses avodah zara. This shul is going to turn into a base of avodah zara. Chenav. Hoder ikpid tfei. Rav Yochanan got more angry. Omar chavrusa nami. There's 2 Talmidei Chacham. Here was his Talmud. All the Gavei Rav Yaakov already Amar Lo Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe Avdo. Kein Tziva Moshe es Yoshua v'chein as Yoshua lo yisir davar mikol asher Tziva Hashem es Moshe. V'chiyal kol davar shamer mo Yoshua ya omer lehem kach amar li Moshe. Yoshua didn't say, oh, this is what Moshe told me. Elo Yoshua Yoshev v'dor stam v'akol yodim shetor shel Moshe hi. Yoshev darsh, everybody knew it was from Moshe. Af Rabbi Elazar Tamidcha. Your Talmid Rabbi Elazar, Yoshev v'dor stam, v'kol yodim kishel chayi. He doesn't quote you in your name, but everyone knows it's your Torah. You see, Rav Yaakov already knows how to make somebody feel good. Now, Rav Yochanan might time a carpet kulai. Why was Rav Yochanan so upset? Rav Maidich Siv, Agura b'oholcha olamim. I shall dwell in your tents forever. We'll mention this tefillah tomorrow. Okay, everybody, tomorrow.
7:30.
Tomorrow at 7:30, and then the Sorba will be at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Go ahead, honey. Good night.